ਨਮਸ ਨਮਸਤੇ, ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਔਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਪਰਥਾਈ ਸਾਖੀ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਬੋਲਦੇ, ਸਾਂਝੀ ਸਗਲ ਜਹਾਨੇ। ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਹੋਏ ਸੋ ਭਉ ਕਰੇ, ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਪਛਾਨੇ। ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦੀ ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰੇ, ਤਾ ਮਨ ਹੀ ਤੇ ਮਨ ਜਾने। जिनको मन की प्रतीत नाही, नानक से क्या कथे ज्ञाने। ਵਿਆਖਿਆ। ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦਾ ਬਚਨ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹਨ, ਪਰ ਉਸ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਲਈ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜੋ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦੇ ਸਨਮੁਖ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਦਾ ਡਰ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਧਾਰਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਖੋਜ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਰਤਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੀ ਮਾਇਆ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਉਦਾਸ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਤੀਜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਬਾਹਰ ਭਟਕਣੋਂ ਹਟ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਹੇ ਨਾਨਕ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਪਤੀਜਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਿਆਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਲਾਭ नहीं ਹੁੰਦਾ। बयान शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज कि आप हमें खुद आकर बार बार वही छोटी चीजें सिखाते हो। जैसे हुक्मनामा कह रहा है कि आपको समझना इज नॉट इजी, लेकिन आपने हमारे लिए सब कुछ कितना इजी कर दिया है। सो शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज का। आपकी कृपा बरस रही है और उसी कृपा के तहत आज हमारे बीच में चंदा आंटी जी और रूबेन बेदी अंकल will be sharing their blessings with Guruji Maharaj. So with folded hands and bowed head, I ask Aunty and Uncle to share their blissful blessings with us.
Jai Guruji, are we audible?
Hanji.
Jai Guruji Aunty, Jai Guruji to Guruji ki pyari pyari sangat, and Jai Guruji, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to share our satsangs with you guys. My husband and I are sitting together, and it was lovely satsang. I just wanted to say कि गुरुजी की तो रहमतें इतनी बेअंत हैं, गुरुजी ने हमारे लिए इतना कुछ करा है। आई होप कि मैं अपने इस छोटे से मुंह से उनकी बढ़ाई इनफ कर पाऊँ, and I can do justice to the meher Guruji has showered us with. I would like to start my satsang by saying हम ये statement काफ़ी सुनते हैं कि गुरुजी के दरबार में जब तक गुरुजी अलाउ ना करें, कोई नहीं आ सकता. You can know about Guruji for years and years, but until unless he wants you to come, we cannot come to Guruji's darbar. And my journey with Guruji is a beautiful example of that. I have known about Guruji since 2003. I got married to my husband Ruben 2003, and his sister is married into family that is Purani Sangat for Guruji, and they have been following Guruji for many years and were one of the Sangat that used to on daily basis go to Guruji's Chote Mandir and have had a lot of blessings. Brigadier Alag uncle is Henna, my sister-in-law's father-in-law, and as a matter of fact, unke satsangs to Light of Divinity ki book mein bhi published hain. So I'm lucky that I got married into such a family. तो जैसे हमारी शादी हुई, हैना ने हमें गुरुजी के बारे में बताया था, और she also gave us a picture of Guruji which we had kept in our mandir out of respect to Guruji, out of respect to my sister-in-law Henna. However, we never really had feelings as such about Guruji. I come from Hindu faith and my husband is from Sikh faith, and we both, as we got married, and just respect each other's faith, and started our married life that way. Years later, as life has it, we had our ups and downs in our life, and about 10 years later, I would say about 2000 2013, 2015. We had some really rough years in our business. My husband had a lot of setbacks, and which really caused his health to suffer. So we were going through a lot of turmoil, business में problems आ रही थी, or everywhere around my life, I felt like I was in some sort of turmoil. And जैसे हम human beings हैं, अपनी जब हमारी जिंदगी में ऐसे time आते हैं, then that's when we really look for spirituality. Both my husband and I were pretty much raised in America, so although we have had our religious roots, but we were never really practicing each of our religions. So I think that at that point in my life, I really was searching for spirituality. And also being a mother of two children, I had a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I really wanted to pass on some sort of religion to my children, and constantly wondered कि इनको मैं Sikhism में introduce कराऊं, इनको मैं Hinduism में introduce कराऊं. Anyhow, just was in a battle of my life. Jesse, I think that's the time I was searching, and I feel Guruji ne took pity on me and unki nazar hui. So I ended up visiting my sister-in-law in Seattle. It was December 2015, I believe. I visited her with my two kids. I went there to have winter vacation. My husband, who was going to join us at the about tail end of our trip, and we were planning on spending New Year Eve with my sister-in-law and then come back on the 2nd of January. While I was in my sister-in-law's house, who is a devotee of Guruji, one morning I was in Seattle, and one morning I was sitting and having tea with her. I saw Guruji's Swarup in her kitchen, and somehow just was really attracted towards it, and asked my sister-in-law, can you please share more about your Guruji? I really want to know more about your Guruji. And she said, oh my God, I'm so glad you've asked, because I've been wanting to tell you forever. And, just so she was reluctant and hesitant, but anyhow, she opened her heart to me and she shared her satsang, she shared her journey, which was amazing and got me really intrigued. So I told her that I would love to attend a satsang. And we decided that first of the year in Seattle, they have a huge satsang, to bring in the new year. So she said, hey, we should go to our satsang. You can come with us. And by then, Ruben will be here too. And we as a whole family can go and start the New Year's in the right way and get Guruji's blessing. So we're super excited about it. I thought, okay, that's a great idea. We'll do that. Continued with our vacation. Unfortunately, on December 30th, my husband called us and said he's not feeling well. He doesn't feel fit enough to travel, and he wants me and my kids to come back so we can spend New Year with him back in LA. So I said, okay. I was really concerned about his health. His health had been suffering for a while. And I was really disappointed because I really wanted to see Guruji's satsang, but I understood. I took it as Guruji's hukam, and he booked a ticket for the 31st. On the 30th, as we were running some errands, I was in the car with my brother-in-law, Henna's husband, Bobby, Gurtaj Alag, and and my two kids and their two kids. We were just running errands, and he said, you know what, even though you can't go to a satsang, why don't I at least take you to Usha Aunty and MP Uncle's house? Usha Aunty is, does all the satsangs in Seattle and is the coordinator in Seattle for Guruji Sangat. I was so reluctant because I didn't want to go to their house unannounced, but he was so persistent, and I must say it was Guruji ki koi us din mere upar koi rahm tha Guruji ka, that he allowed me to go. So we ended up at Ushanti's house. Ushanti wasn't home. MP Uncle opened the door and he welcomed us with it was a warm welcome from him. And I felt like immediately I felt great being there. Those of you who've had the opportunity to go to their house, you probably know the vibe, the Guruji's presence in their house is just amazing. we walked in, and Bobby introduced me to MP uncle. He was really sweet, and he said, "Why don't you guys sit down?" He put some shabads on. We sat on the floor by the fireplace where Aunty has her chair for Guruji, and Guruji's divine Sarup is right above the fireplace. So I sat there in silence with my brother-in-law and our 4 children, who sat there quietly. And I don't know, I think that's the moment I can pinpoint in my life where I feel like my soul felt like it was exactly where it needed to be. It was, I was so emotional. I didn't even know much about Guruji, but I cried my heart out. And I sat there, all of my problems of my life, my husband's problems, his health problem, they all surfaced on my mind, and I was just weeping, and I guess begging and praying to Guruji to help me and to help my husband. And he's a great person. I didn't want him to suffer. So I sat there, and I don't know, the emotions took over me, and I just felt like I could pour, I felt like I could pour my heart out to Guruji. I felt so connected. It was really nice experience. And then Aunty uncle gave me my first chai prasad. We sat, and then he shared his satsangs with me, which were beautiful. And I felt so nice to hear his experiences with Guruji. Because he had met Guruji as well. So, and then I, in my mind, told myself that, before I leave from this house, I'm going to ask uncle for a picture of Guruji. Literally, I had just finished saying that to myself, and MP uncle immediately got up, went to the room, and brought a picture. And I think that was Guruji's way of showing me that whatever you have been saying in your mind, I am hearing you, I'm listening to you. He gave me a picture. I kept it with me. It was such an experience. We came back next morning, took our flight. We came back to California. And Sangatji, you won't believe it. I really, to this day, feel like I came back to a different husband. He had somehow overnight, I don't know what, Guruji did some magic. He changed his ways. He started eating healthy on his own. He, gave up drinking for a while, and his health started taking turn for positive. I really felt like, Guruji had changed him. However, हम human beings हैं, हम अपने कामों में फिर busy हो जाते हैं. I came back to California, and I again got back, busy with my stuff, and didn't really follow through with, I would have Guruji's picture, which I would keep in my religious book that I used to read. I was raised following Ram Sharanam, so I would read Amritvani each day, and I would have Guruji's picture in the Amritvani. Every day I would take Matha Tek to Guruji and continue with my prayers. And then like I said, when Guruji accepts you as his devotee, he holds your hand and brings you back. So that summer, my sister-in-law came to visit LA with her husband and her husband's parents, so Brigadier uncle and auntie were visiting them from India. They came, and Guruji sent his sangat to our house to make sure that I'm going to come back. And with them, I went to my first satsang. I met Alka auntie. My sister-in-law had connected with Alka auntie. I went to my satsangs, and I got to meet and become part of the Orange County Sangat. I started listening to Gurbani. I loved listening to Shabads. I speak Punjabi from, since childhood. So I really connected with the Punjabi Gurbani, and really also another big thing for me was I had the biggest question in my head whether I should pass on Hinduism or Sikhism to my kids. But in the Guruji Darbar, both Om and Ekyamkar coexist. So, Guruji told me that I didn't have to pick one. I could just bring them to Guruji Sharan, and Guruji will take over. So that's where my journey started, and I'm so thankful to Guruji that he allowed me to be part of the Orange County Sangat. He's given us a beautiful parivar who has become just a big part of my life. Every day I'm thankful for. I learned so much. We go to the satsang. I learned so much. I'm so inspired by our sangat and by their satsangs, by their connection to Guruji, by the kind of seva these our Guru Parivar kids do for Guruji. It's amazing to see. So thank you so much. I do have a lot more satsangs. I just wanted to share my initial journey. I'll give time for my husband to share some of his satsang, and then if time allows, I will share more.
Jai Guruji Sangatji. My name is Ruben. And first of all, I want to say thank you, Shukrana to Guruji, for allowing me to do satsang today. This is my first ever satsang on Zoom. I've never done it before, even though I've shared in our live sangat here. But I hope whatever Guruji wants me to say, I will say. So like Chanda was saying, it's when he allows you. So to be a part of his Sangha, to get connected. I'm sure we've been connected for a long time, maybe in past life, but this time when he allows you is a big part of my satsang as well. My sister got married in 1999, and she's obviously seen Guruji in his roop and in his chola, and has had his blessings. So she would always tell me, before I even got married to Chanda, she would always tell me, "Tum mere saath chal, Guruji hai, he will bless you too." So being young and really not caring too much, I said, okay, kabhi chalunga tere saath, kabhi mere ko time lagega to main chalunga. And in fact, I was in LA at that time and she was in India then. So just never happened. Or I should say, it wasn't my time yet. So fast forward all these years, 2016 is when I started hearing about Guruji again, and feeling some of his presence in our life, and like Chanda was saying, my health was not so great at that time. And I just needed something to kind of pull me out of things. So I started seeing a change in myself, and it just started coming from inside and within. And that really is how I started feeling his grace, Guruji's grace. And within a few months, I said, okay, Chanda was already going to satsangs. And she said, hey, she never forced me, but she said, hey, why don't you come with me? Wahan pe Gurbani chalti hai. I'm from a Sikh family, so wahan Gurbani chalti hai and langar milta hai. So I thought, okay, it's just langar and Gurbani, so I'm okay with that. I can go. And as like I said, I'm from a Sikh family, we're pretty much taught from day one that Guru Manya Granth, and there's only one Guru. So it was a little tough for me to make that transition to say, who's my Guru and what should I do here? And I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit of indecisiveness, I should say. How should I approach Guruji? Should I bow down, matha tekunga ke nahi? How does it work? What's going to happen? Just all these questions in my mind were part of my, just thought process, I should say. But anyhow, I was there. I went there. I went to Auntie's house. It was beautiful darbar, and it was just an amazing experience just to be there, just to listen to Gurbani and listen to other satsangs by other sangat there. It was just a blissful time. And before I knew, I was going to satsangs regularly. I mean, I would look forward to going to satsangs, and just being there, being in his presence, it just felt really, really good and really blessed. So, but the inside struggle was still going on. Is it my Guruji? My Guruji? I'm, is Guru Granth Sahib? Do I know? What do I know? How do I figure this out? Then one day, out of out of the blue, I guess, one day I'm sleeping, I get this dream, and I can't say it was darshan because all I saw was just darkness, but I hear this voice in Tet Punjabi, and the voice says, "Main ohi hu," and I believe that was Guruji telling me that don't be indecisive. I am the one. I am him. And that was the day, and it's to today. It's just him. So that's how I got connected with Guruji. There's been a lot of sorry, I get a little emotional, but there's been a lot of things that have happened. They're hard to kind of explain, but the satsangs are on daily basis pretty much. And Guruji just makes his presence felt all the time. Just a few months ago, I was listening to a lot of satsangs. I had a lot of time. I was taking my son for some treatment, and they wouldn't let me go inside, so I had to sit outside for 2 to 3 hours at a time on a Saturday. And I would just sit outside, and instead of wasting my time with other things, I would just listen to satsangs. Aunty always forwards these satsangs on WhatsApp group. And when I get a chance, I listen to them. So I was listening to a lot of satsangs, always COVID time, to Purani Sangat, that was talking about Guruji's immense blessings in whichever way they had them. So I was thinking to myself, Guruji, like, I'm your Sangha too, I think. Am I part of your Sangha? Do you know if I'm here? I'm sure he knows everything. Just as a human mind, you start thinking and questioning that I've never seen him physically. Does he know? So just these kind of questions. And all of a sudden also, I was listening to a satsang, a playlist, and that was really an amazing playlist. So I was thinking to myself, Guruji, maybe sometime I can get the seva of doing a playlist too. And at that time, we were having local satsangs here in the park on Sunday mornings, and in Irvine, and we're still having them every week, and it's been over a year now. So anyhow, and I just say that in my mind while I'm driving back, Guruji, whenever you allow, jab bhi aapki marzi hogi, mere ko bhi kabhi seva dena playlist ki. So ye kya ke I had moved on. And believe it or not, Sangaji, next day I go to satsang in the morning, and as soon as the satsang's over, mantra jap is over, and Aunty, who coordinates all the satsangs here, she's just an amazing, blessed soul. So she just gets up and she says, "Abhi Guruji ka mere ko hukam aaya ke Ruben, next week playlist aap banao." And it was just shocking I had not talked to her, I had not seen her, I had not said a word about what I was thinking or feeling or anything of that nature. So I just feel like Guruji just hears everything. And so I just want to say thank you to Guruji, and hopefully keeps allowing me and keeps me in his sharing. That's all I can say. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji. I will also continue on. Do we have more time?
Yes, you have, Aunty.
Okay. I will share one more satsang. Few years ago, my son, we're very, very overprotective parents, so kids have never gotten hurt. So my son a few years ago got hurt. One of his cousins pushed him and he fell backwards, and luckily he put his hand down and and he ended up breaking his arm. um, he told me later on that when he was falling, there was a voice in his head that kept saying, "Put your hand down, put your hand down." And when the EMT came, they told me, "You're lucky," because he had fallen on the concrete. They say, "You're lucky he put his hand down. He broke his fall with his hand. Had he not, he could have hit his head and we could have been looking at a completely different situation." So I was so thankful. I really think that voice in his head who kept telling him to put his hand down was Guruji. I really feel कि दुख तकलीफें तो आती ही हैं, just like anybody, but Guruji is always there to to take 90% and give us the 10%. हो सकता है a really big thing was going to happen and Guruji ने छोटे में कर दी. ठीक है, बच्चे, he broke his arm, he had a surgery. At that moment, we were very distressed. And, of course, it was a cousin who pushed him. So there was an emotional element for him. He was recovering emotionally and, physically as well from the fracture. So I didn't go to Satsang for quite a while, and I was, helping him get better. And the first time when he had gotten his heart cast, so I said, it happened to be a Satsang day. So I said, let's go to a Satsang today. I took my son with me to a Satsang. And Sangaji, you will see, this is such a, it was Guruji showing me his presence in this Satsang. Since my son has been born, we always once a year do a langar in the Gurdwara. And my father-in-law always asks the Paiji at the very end to play one Shabad, Puta Mata Ki Ardas. I had gone to several satsangs by now, Guruji satsangs, but never had I heard that Shabad. So this one day, when I take my son with me to get Guruji's blessings, I'm sitting there, I'm thanking Guruji. Guruji, thank you so much for helping my son. You take care of him. And right then, this Shabad comes on. The host, whoever was that day, I don't even know whose house it was, whoever the host was, played that Shabad, and I just got so emotional. I felt like that was Guruji telling me that I've got you, I got your son, I'm taking care of him, don't worry about it. And because I connect with that Shabad with my son, so I felt like that was Guruji giving me his presence. So thank you, Guruji. We've all surrendered. Dhire dhire, hum chote hain, bacche hain, सीख रहे हैं. Every day we're learning to surrender little by little, कि हम लोगों के हाथ में कुछ भी नहीं है. Like my husband said, we hope that Guruji continues to keep us under his sharan and keep us blessed. I'll share one more satsang. This was a dream I had of Guruji, just like my husband. I had always wondered कि गुरुजी आप भी उनको पता है कि मैं भी आपकी संगत में बैठी हूँ. And of course we're human beings, so we wonder कि गुरुजी, does Guruji see me? Of course I am sitting here. Does he? So I used to, again, just like my husband, I used to always wonder if Guruji seeing me or not. And one night I did have, that was my only time I had dream darshan of Guruji. It was basically in my dream, Guruji, there was a sangat going on. It looked like the satsang had just ended. Guruji had just got up from his chair and sat and sitting in a room, in the next room, and we are cleaning up myself and Ruben, we are cleaning the darbar, and I see that there is a faucet on top of one of the side tables, and I'm filling up the water, and water is spilling over, and I'm telling my husband, can you come help me clean up? And he's helping me clean. Just as he's cleaning, I look back and I see Guruji sitting there in the chair looking at me, and it seems like he's saying something to me. It seemed like there were loud vacuum noises going on, and I go towards Guruji and I say, Hanji Guruji, tusi ki ke Hanji Guruji. And as I keep going closer to him, he says, Tenu gurur kis cheez da? That's the only thing I heard him actually saying in Punjabi. And then and then it seems like he's kind of laughing at me, and then he turns around and he says, Menu teri jiha bahut pasand hai. So Jaya is my daughter's name. Again, Guruji is telling me as a mom, I always worry about my daughter, just in general, So Guruji is telling me that I've got your kids, I've got you. And it was such a beautiful darshan. I feel like he, told me to obviously let go of my ego. And I think that's the message I got. And then also he told me that he loves my daughter, so not to worry about her. So thank you, Guruji, for continuing to bless us. Ruben is going to share more.
Jai Guruji, another satsang comes to my mind, and it's about how he protects and how he answers and just tells you, what to do if you just leave it up to him. So last year, the COVID time, we obviously nobody could go anywhere, and we were all just kind of stuck at home. So my sister said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you just drive here? You're quarantined, we're quarantined. It'd be okay. Why don't you just drive here up to Seattle?" So I thought it was a great idea, and we were all wanted to go somewhere and get out of the house. So, but we were thinking, what should we do? We're not going to fly. Obviously, there were no flights anyways. But we were thinking, should we just drive in a car, or should we get an RV, rent an RV, and just drive up there? And obviously I would be the only one driving the RV pretty much. So I was thinking in a double-minded long drive. And then Chanda wanted us to get an RV instead of going on by car, because it's easier for the bathroom situation. There's a, it has its own bathroom, and we wouldn't have to stop anywhere to go use the facilities and things of that nature. We could take our own food in it. So it just made sense to do it. But I was a little hesitant since I have never rented an RV before, and I've never driven it that far. I mean, I've driven bigger vehicles, but not that far. So मेरे दिमाग में कुछ ना चल रहा था कि, should I do it, should I not do it? So in the morning one day, मैं हमारे दरबार में आके मैं गुरुजी से के साथ बैठा हूँ, उनसे बस ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि गुरुजी सोच रहे हैं जाने का, आप कोई इंडिकेशन दे दो, कैसे जाएं, कार से जाएं या आरवी रेंट करके जाएं. So ये बात मेरे दिमाग में चल रही थी और मैं करके we left. And then that Thursday we for satsang, we have Thursday satsangs here via Zoom, but we were with another Sangat member who lives right down the street from us, and they were quarantined as well. So sometimes we had satsang together. So we were at their house, and that Sangat was, they were, it's a big long satsang from their side, but I'm just going to give you a short version of it. He was telling us that, I had a dream darshan yesterday from Guruji, and I'm not sure what that means. So I'm not sure if I'm going to share with everybody. So his wife was like, no, just go and share it. It doesn't matter. Just share it with them. So share it with us. And we were like, okay. So basically his dream darshan was of an RV, and Guruji was, they had taken a trip in an RV, and Guruji visits them in their RV, and and there's a satsang going on in the RV. It's a long satsang by him, but the point is that Chanda and I were just looking at each other in just this awe that, wow, I've been thinking, what should I do? And here's my clear-cut answer that, hey, you need to go. You can take an RV and go. So I did that. I got an RV and started driving to Seattle. It was a 2-day drive. We broke our journey in Northern California, right by the Oregon border. Anyhow, we parked over there. Everything was great. We found our spot, and it was nighttime, so we went to sleep. We went to sleep, and everything was fine. So we wake up by this knock about maybe 7:30 in the morning, and somebody's knocking at our door and saying, and I'm like, I'm really weirded out that, who's knocking? We don't know anybody here. Anyhow, we see a very nice gentleman, bald-headed, and just say, hey, hello, good morning. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but your tire in the back is busted and it's in pieces. And I'm like, what do you mean tire? It was fine at night. The RV has two wheels. One was busted from the inside wheel. And I was like, oh my God. And I had no idea when it happened, how long ago it happened. I drove just fine. I parked just fine. And I had no clue. And if this gentleman didn't come and tell me that the tire was busted, we were just going to eat our breakfast and leave again. And we could have been, stranded in the middle somewhere. Lots of things could have happened if the second tire busted too. But here's Guruji's grace. So he tells us this, and we just start saying, Jai Guruji, thank you for telling us. And we call the local AAA. We get a new tire. Everything's fine. We easily comes and changes our tire. All that stuff happens, and then we notice and realize that our parking number, which we had no clue at night, because we got there at night, it was dark. We just parked in the spot they told us to. The parking number was 7, by Guruji's grace. So it was just like he was watching over us the whole trip. We got up there, not one issue again, and not one issue coming back. It was a Monday that I was driving back. Usually we do satsangs on Mondays ourselves, and Chanda and I, we did a satsang in our RV on the way back, and so it was just a blessed trip by him, and we just feel so blessed by him, that stuff like this, and this just small things that he does, and just reminds you that he's around, he's watching, he's listening, and responding as well. So with that, I'd like to say, Jai Guruji, thank you for letting us share on this platform, and may Guruji bless everybody like he blessed us. So Jai Guruji, Aunty.
Jai Guruji.
बेहद शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज का, बहुत सारा शुक्राना उनका for guiding us, and so many messages we got. And Guruji is so beautiful. The lullaby for my son was Bhuta Mata Ki Asis Hai. So I was getting goosebumps when Aunty was sharing, and as Guruji is guiding all of us to be in his name, this is the best blessing a mother could give to their child, that you don't forget Paramatma. That literally this Shabad is so beautiful, which is a mother's wish for a child, that you don't even forget Paramatma for even a minute or a second or a pulse. So it's such a beautiful blessing for all of us, and a reminder by Guru Sahab that this is the best gift we can give to our children in heritage, as the crux of today's satsang, as shared by Aunty and Uncle, is that we want to pass on Guruji's light and divinity to our kids. This is the least we can do as our role, and rest leave it to Guruji. This is my takeaway. And beautifully he tells us, sorry, Aunty, go ahead. I think they're not muted. So Shukrana Guruji Maharaj ka, how he comes and tells us, sometimes in dream and sometimes through a voice, as he told Uncle, that he is the same Jyot. So beyond Shukrana for these beautiful messages. And as Aunty and Uncle said that they have more to share, would love to have them as and when Guruji gives them hukum. So today, as guided by Guruji, we'll be playing Bhuta Mata Ki Asis. Over to you, Subodhji. And then we'll take Agya. But before that, my duty. Sangat ji, agar aaj aapka birthday hai ya aapki family mein kisi ka bhi birthday hai, तो हमारी जो डिवाइन मदर हैं गुरुजी साहब, उनकी तरफ से सबको ये ब्लेसिंग कि हम उनको कभी ना भूलें, यही विश और होप करते हैं, बाकी वो बेहतर जानते हैं. मांग तो सकते नहीं, लेकिन इतनी दुआ कर सकते हैं कि कोई भी उनके चरण शरण से दूर ना जाए। ओवर टू यू सुबोधजी।
माता की आसीस पूता, माता की आसीस, माता की आसीस पूता, माता की आसीस। निमख न बिसरो तुमको वार वार, निमख न बिसरो तुमको वार वार, सदा भजो जगदीश पूत, माता की आसीस, माता की आसीस पूत, माता की आसीस। जे सिमरत सब किल विखना से, पितरी होए उदारो। सो हार हार तुम सद ही जापो, जा का अंत न पारो, जा का अंत न पारो पूत, माता की आसीस, माता की आसीस पूत, माता की आसीस। सतगुर तुमको होए दयाला, संत संग तेरी प्रीत। कापड़ पत परमेश्वर राखी, भोजन कीर्तन नीत, भोजन कीर्तन नीत पूत, माता की आसीस, माता की आसीस पूत, माता की आसीस। निमख न बिसरो तुमको वार वार, निमख न बिसरो तुमको वार वार, सदा भजो जगदीश पूत, माता की आसीस, माता की आसीस पूत, माता की आसीस।
बेहद बेहद शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज। संगत जी, you can unmute yourself and take आज्ञा।
जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, सर्वत का गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी।